Okay, the next fly I'm going to tie is a Flexi Floss worm, which is a stillwater lure pattern, which it's got loads of movement, rubber legs, and usually gets a rainbow trout going mad. So we start with a size 6 fulling mill short shank special. I'm going to debarb it. We'll just hold that in the vise for the moment. Next thing we do is cut a section of mono or fluorocarbon, whatever you got handy, around about 8 inches. And we're going to double it over so it forms a loop. And we're going to thread some beads on that. I'm just going to make the whole thing a lot easier to get these beads onto the Flexi Floss. So just bear with me while I thread 6 beads onto some monofilament. Okay, so that's it. With this one, we're going to tie an olive green worm. So we've got 6 olive coloured Gutermann beads, which are those are the beads we use, and the colour is 8535. Okay, so next we're going to take a piece of olive Flexi Floss and double it over, and we're going to thread the loop of the Flexi Floss through the loop of the monofilament and pull the monofilament back through so the beads threaded onto the Flexi Floss. It should end up with something like that. And what I like to do is just wet that at that point, just makes threading them onto the hook a lot easier. So with the beads on the Flexi Floss, just want to start threading them onto the hook shank. Can be a little bit fiddly. Take your time though. Be careful not to split the Flexi Floss with the hook point. So just threading them on and working them along that hook shank one by one. All that. Last one. And at that stage we can put the hook back in the vise. Pull the Flexi Floss so it's even length on both sides. Okay. Now what we could do at that point is separate the beads out and put a drop of super glue or varnish in between each bead just to make it a bit more secure. But what I find is once you've had a couple of fish on these, the Flexi Floss tends to fray a little bit anyway. So I don't even. Occasionally your thread will slip around and cause the Flexi Floss to spin. Just readjust it. So you've got a nice hot spot, and then just whip off there. Free turn finger whip over the top is fine. Okay, so now all we've got to do is do an overhand knot. Take another couple of pieces of Flexi Floss, looking around about 5 inches there, and in the middle section, so that's 3 beads along, wind the Flexi Floss through it, do an overhand knot, gradually pull tight. It's one set of legs. Do the same again. And that slot in between the beads, overhand knot, tighten the whole thing up. So that's effectively the tying done. What you have to do now is to pull the legs up all together and trim them to the right length you're after. I tend to prefer something around that. It's around about 1.5 to 2 inches of each leg. And finally, what I'll do is add a drop of varnish rather. To that hot spot. And also add a tiny little bit of varnish to the underside of the Flexi Floss where you've just tied it in, just to stop it untying itself. And that's it, job done.